Section 713 is called Reactive Powers Without Magnetic Fields. And just a real brief idea here. And the only reason I'm bringing this up and creating this little short video is because we will run into this situation um, when we talk about motor drives and switching. Primarily these very large transistors that switch on and off that are used in variable frequency drives. So just a quick mention of this. So as he says in this section, sometimes there's a situation where loads absorb reactive power without creating any magnetic field. And one of those situations is shown in this figure 716. And you know, it happens a lot in power circuits where current flow is delayed by some sort of a switching device. One example of that is a thyristor, and then we'll see other examples of that later. But so as you look at this particular problem, you know, you have a 100-volt effective 60 hertz source, and it's connected to a 10 ohm resistor out here. And so what's happening is, as the switch opens and closes at a certain voltage, it's triggered, so to speak. So, you know, during this portion of the voltage, you know, the circuit or switch is actually open. Then when it reaches that threshold, then at that point, the switch closes and current starts to flow. Well, the idea there is similar to what we encounter with, you know, what we were looking at earlier. But basically what happens is, you know, the current is going to lag the voltage, right? It lags the voltage during this entire period here, okay? And so if you connected a watt meter and a var meter between the source and the switch, for instance, say, you know, you'd read 500 watts active and 318 var on reactive. And so, you know, if you did the calculation based on those values, we would find a power factor that was around 84.4%. And this reactive power is actually associated with this switch opening closing rather than the resistor itself. So it's, you know, it's a little more detail here about, you know, that situation that we talked about. But regardless, reactive power is consumed just as if it were a reactor or inductor, reactor inductor, or present in the circuit. And then he goes on to say, the switching circuit will be discussed in detail in chapter 30. Of course, we're not going to get to chapter 30, but that's an area where we look at variable frequency drives where this switching occurs. And that is something that we will very much be involved in. Okay, that's it for this one.